Hey, my name is Kanyile Ka-Ngwenya. Some of you may know me as Fritz, and I want to share something special with you. Recently, I finished writing my second book, The African Century, How the Shithole Became the Pot of Gold. I want to share what this book is all about. But more importantly, I want to share with you what this book is not about. The African Century, How the Shithole Became the Pot of Gold, is not just another book about pointing fingers. It is not about blaming colonialism and imperialism, yet it addresses and redresses the past injustices. It is not about tribalism, xenophobia, or famine, yet it resolves how to avoid future xenophobia, famine, and tribalism. I wanted to write a book where I did not complain and point fingers, but instead I wanted to offer tangible African solutions to some of the many African issues. This book is also not about which African country is better than the other, or which African country you are from. Yet it shows you how Africa's brightness lies in Africa's diversity. Wherein is Africa's diversity? Our diversity is our source of pride. In the first pages, you meet the powerful words of US scholar and Pan-Africanist. His words gave me the motivation I needed to write and complete the book. Open quote. Now is the accepted time. Not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done, and not some future day or future year. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time. Now are the hours of work, and tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime. Close quote. That was Webb Du Bois, who was born in Massachusetts, here in the US, and died in Accra, Ghana, West Africa. Look, I've been blessed to sit down with some incredible minds, great personalities, and all have one thing to say about the continent. That Africa's potential is humongous, yet it still lies untapped. I interviewed civil rights leaders who walked side by side with Martin Luther King Jr., former US Ambassador to the United Nations, the Reverend Andrew Young, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson, as well as my brother from another mother, Akon, discussing his Lighting Up Africa work that is making a huge difference in Africa. You'll find this in a chapter called Conversations with Icons. As an African, I find myself continually asking perplexing questions like, why is Africa still lagging behind? Who is an African? And can we continue to play the blame game? I wonder if it is time to look into the mirror and closely examine our present condition while comparing it to our past and contemplating our future. The future lies in the hands of our African children and in the hands of those willing to explore and exploit their potentials. We all agree, colonialism and imperialism have dealt damaging blows to the continent. But now we face problems that are primarily ours to resolve. Tribal conflict, genocide, xenophobia, illiteracy, poverty, disease, and poor leadership. This book seeks to promote a greater understanding of these problems, their sources, and their potential solutions. In Archbishop Desmond Tutu's words, the Nobel laureate, he says, if we go within, we will not go without. And in the 21st century, I passionately believe that we Africans must look deep within and then begin building the foundation that will allow the next generation of young people to pursue their African dreams. Look, the passing of Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, aka Madiba, means that the torch has been passed to us, the next generation. We are, however, confronted with serious issues that we inherited from our forefathers, issues that we need to address and redress, and that require full use of the available time and resources. First, however, we Africans have to define the Africa of our dreams. In the book, I reveal what the ultimate African dream is. You got to check it out. But to achieve the ultimate African dream requires that each of us Africans must begin to tap into our potentials and work toward creating a motherland of our dreams. Look, our fathers were not allowed to dream. Our children must be allowed to dream freely. Our mothers had limited opportunities. African girls must be granted equal opportunities and allowed to realize their potentials. Education seems to be a key that we've thrown into a river, and now every community and village must pursue and capture that key. Children must possess the right to grow and learn in a classroom. They must not be engaged in learning ways to kill other tribes. Right? In pursuit of the diamonds, gold, and pills that are shipped away to wealthy nations. Africa possesses great natural resources, assets that can help develop an effective health system and relieve poverty and address a range of social issues. Look, we don't need Western or Eastern ideologies. We must instead strive to foster African ideals, relying on our own talents and gifts. We have the natural wealth. Now we must continue to find ways to effectively use it while developing intelligent leadership at all levels. And we must pursue that wealth to advance African interests, not the interests of other countries, many of whom have exploited the African continent. We must seek economic freedom. We all agree on that, absolutely, and find ways to achieve it. And the time is now. As Africans, we are compelled to hear Du Bois' words. Today is the seed time. Now are the hours of work, and tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime. This is the time for us to begin writing our own history, using our own voices, and to begin seeking a more perfect union of Africa. UA. In the words of George Washington Carver, he says, we must start from where we are with what we have. In other words, no excuses. A 2011 report by the African Development Support Monitor, DSM, said, Africa's opportunities will only materialize if a continent-wide movement similar to that seen during the liberation struggle, involving political leaders, business, and the citizenry at large, engage in a collective effort to ensure that every African has a source of income, roof over their head, access to quality education and health care, as well as the capabilities and means to pursue their dreams in a peaceful environment. Well, as you can tell, I wrote this book in an African state of mind. It's too many African issues. Women cry too many rivers, no tissues. Scars of famine, rape, and wars. This is what is happening in the 21st century. I wrote this book to seek answers to questions like, can a leadership with a 20th century mindset still be useful in the 21st century? Well, in the next video, I break down the first chapter and the first step towards living the Africa of our dreams, decoding the African Union. Is it not what Albert Einstein eloquently stated when he said, "We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them"? The dream of our Pan-Africanist fathers, Du Bois and Kwame Nkrumah and others, was the total independence of African countries. That has been achieved. The second was the unification of the African continent as one group. That was started with the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, which became the African Union, the AU, a union that consists of all 55 African countries, including the new South Sudan. However, you and I can unequivocally agree that the AU is a spineless organization and a toothless bulldog with no vision at all. Look, the first step is the total reconfiguration of the African Union into a more perfect Union of Africa. I would like to hear your comments. Go ahead and subscribe. I will send you the next video on why the first step is the decoding and reconfiguration of the African Union. Tell me about your African state of mind. What are your thoughts on African solutions to the many African issues? I look forward to hear from you. I'm yours truly, Ka-Ngwenya. Thank you.